City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Special beyond special.
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel. Drogba! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 42. Palace have won the FA Cup. We're recording directly after that so that we could get this out and then later in the week post something only about United and Spurs. But we will talk about Chelsea in this one as they got much closer to Champions League spots as they control their own destiny for sure now against Forest on the last day. So we'll talk a little Chelsea United and then Chelsea Forest, and then we'll get out of here. So hopefully a shorter one. But since we are recording directly after, this is Mila's team that was in the final. Mila, you can start us off and kind of give us your thoughts on the game, and I'll throw up to start.
Yeah, go throw that up first because I think this is bullshit. These ratings are not not correct. Overall, I thought we were sloppy at times. Easy passes, just going to the man, not checking your shoulder. They're just running up from behind and grabbing the ball off him. Midfield, non-existent, defensively at least. I thought KDB looked lazy on defense. Granted, he did create basically everything for us outside of Echeverri in that 10-minute stint. I don't know. The wingers were terrible first half. I think they showed a lot more in the second, which is why their ratings are decent. But we need a better showing from them from the start. Savio looked like he could get something going in the second half, but first half he was a non-factor, and we were all talking about him getting yanked at half.
I'm surprised he was on.
Yeah, I have no idea how he did.
I don't know why Holland didn't take the penalty.
That's super confusing.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go over the City things first, and then we can talk about the general game.
Yeah.
On the topic of Holland, though, I do think a victim of that midfield when De Bruyne's playing so deep and he's that only outlet, basically. Can't really do much. Marmoush wasn't great, and he missed the penalty. It was a poor showing overall. I can't really say much. Going into the game, though, if Crystal Palace won, fair play to them. They fucking deserve it. And this is the FA Cup. This is what it's about. So I don't think I would have been too upset had we just lost normally. But the conditions of which we lost in that Dino fucking here.
Yeah, put it up.
This is
unfortunate,
bullshit.
man. Yeah.
I don't like to complain about the refs ever. I feel like you guys don't really hear that from me much, but this is something
It's stupid.
else.
It's really stupid. I mean, my understanding of it, regardless of the position of the player, it's a handball and he's the last defender. Like
This
regardless
is a red
of
card if
because
it's
the
not a final.
justification, they said because he was going wide, it wasn't a goal scoring.
No, I
opportunity.
understand.
Like the reasoning doesn't make sense though. He's going wide because the
smacked
ball
it
is
wide. Yes.
hit wide by the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And you could see it in real time too. Like he fluffed his lines. He thought he'd be able to kind of see it back into his box. You have to be decisive in that situation. He needs to, once he committed to it, you're out, just boot it. And especially the way we saw them play the game, we saw the approach even before they get the goal. They weren't planning on keeping the ball. So what's it to you to really keep it just to boot it back up anyway? So that was really the crux of it. But yeah, again, to your point, Mila, if I'm a City fan, I'd feel like you should still score a goal. You need to score to win the game. So it's not undeserved, like you said with Palace, but
no, they
to lose in that fashion, it's just
of course 23rd minute though. If you're down man of the match in the 23rd minute, a man down, I think we could score a goal.
You would
like to think we could score a goal. Yeah.
He
Like it's funny because you texted like, "Oh, now we're even." Because honestly, I thought Bernardo flopped after all the replays.
Yeah,
it's still not even because Dino makes the save. Like he's the goalie. He's on the pitch, and
I almost like a
great penalty. But
because I mean, yeah, like I saw. I mean, we'll talk about Chelsea later, but there's Refereeing's very inconsistent, but the one thing that you would think is consistent is, he touched the ball with his hand.
I just don't even know.
It's very confusing.
This still is the most damning still I've ever seen, and I think stills
At least let the referee on the field take a look. He didn't even get to look at it. They didn't even say, we think this isn't a denial, but you should look at this because he does handle it.
I mean, this should be the only talking point really of the game for me. Like, obviously, it's going to be the Palace won it, but like, this is such a failure
blatant
that we created that it just brings up more VAR questions, and I'm so.
What's the point of VAR?
Yeah,
like actually, what is the fucking point? It's very clear right here. Like, it's one of the most clear things in football is that the hand cannot touch the ball outside the box. It's a handball.
Yeah, right.
And
like
if it's the last man in a goal scoring situation, he's off the fucking
He's the
pitch.
last man. That's not a question.
If Munoz came over and smacked the ball down, he'd be off the fucking pitch, regardless of where the ball was on the over there. So
it's
also,
weird.
I know we say context doesn't matter. It's also Erling Haaland who's on the end of this chance.
Exactly. He's gonna beat fucking Munoz to the ball if he gets past that. No,
I've seen lesser strikers put the chance away when they get past the goal. Respectfully, did Ferran not score the same goal in the Copa del Rey final? Was it? Remember, Courtois came out, kind of got stuck, and it was always kind of a tough angle, and he just puts it away first time. And Ferran's a good player; he's not Haaland.
Well, that's what they were saying. Review though,
it's a very similar situation.
They just
is that not
a clear goal
exactly like
and that's the line. But the reason it's not
Ferran scored the same goal in a cup final. Ferran scored the same goal in a cup final.
It's becoming very difficult for me to understand how that wouldn't be a clear goal scoring opportunity. Like even if the ball is going wide there, he's got an open net.
It's 18 yards away, not
23 minutes into a game in a final, they don't want City running away with it 4-0 and against a 10-man Palace, and that's the only.
Yes. Selfishly, as a neutral, I was like, I'm glad it's 11v11.
Of course, you guys are going to be happy about it.
In terms of justice of the game, like that is a handball outside the box. Like it's that simple.
There's nothing really that anyone can
handles
tell
it
me
outside the box.
Yes, if this wasn't an FA Cup final and City weren't in it to lose it, this would have been called.
Match week 18 at Palace.
Any of them. Fucking any of them. It could have I don't understand this. This was appalling. And like I said, we needed to do better regardless. But
it's almost
this leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
You'll see it around all sports because like even in the UFC, for example, I'll hear people say like, you need to beat the champ to beat the champ. Like you can't win a close decision. Like, so because it's a championship fight, we're changing rules. Like if someone gets outpointed, they lose. Like I don't care what the situation is. So to your point, in a normal game, it's a red card. Why isn't it a red card? Why are we changing the rules? It's so puzzling. It's crazy.
Puzzling is the right word because when we look at like the momentum chart and all this stuff, like this is what City did with 11 men. This is what City did with 11
Southampton,
men.
Southampton did the same thing.
Could you imagine with 10 on the wide pitch at Wembley? Like the game is completely different.
Well, they wouldn't have had the outball to Mateta because he wouldn't have had anyone up top. It would have probably just been a 5-4 block and just hope we get to penalties, which could have happened, right? But their best case scenario is getting to pens where it's 50-50.
No, it sucks because my vision of this game is tainted now. And all I asked for was a good game. But even knowing the result and being a United fan, like, sure, City lost. That makes me happy. But it's not, I don't feel right. This doesn't feel right to me. It feels
cool to see the Palace fans celebrate at the end. Like that, you could see how much that meant. Like that, stuff's cool to see.
Awesome.
For me,
did you guys see their tifo?
Special for me.
Was it just their logo?
No, it was the. It was two brothers and their dad.
Nice.
Back in the day, the kids are like our age now, but they were freaking out about that. It was cool to see. It's a magical game. It's a magical tournament, but like Dylan's saying, this is just tarnished.
Yeah, we don't want to take anything away from the Palace win. Like,
not at all.
Obviously, sounds like that's what they're doing.
It's not a Palace thing though. If
fucking that's what
they
we
don't have control over that.
Clear.
Like I can't.
They're playing the game they're being told to play. Yeah.
It's not like he went out there and went, I'm gonna handball this on purpose.
Right. It was
and then went, I got away with that. Like, no, he did it by accident and he was like, oh, thank fuck, I got away with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine. All credit to Palace. They got here, won a first big trophy with this new ownership, with the manager. fantastic.
First major.
Really good job. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge deal.
I do want to talk about the good things that we saw from City, at least. There's not much to talk about. But I think Echeverry, 19 years old, debutant, FA Cup final, and he looked like our best player. And
that was crazy. You called that before. You can say that out loud if you want. I mean, you were texting. I thought like they're not going to give this kid who's never made an appearance a debut in a cup final.
The only reason I thought they might was because that they took off McAtee and Rico from the squad to put Echeverry into the squad. So there has to be a reason to throw him in there. Clearly knowledgeable at 19. Huge he has an IQ. He's directing the play, not physically with the ball, but directing every fucking senior player on the pitch. Pass here, pass there. That's when we started building stuff at the end. He gets into good positions. He gets the ball. Almost has that chance to put it away. I'm not going to fault him for it. Like I said, 19-year-old debutant in an FA Cup final. And I think the same goes for O'Reilly's chance. He is a kid in his first final for his club. So as much as I want to say, like, yes, you should be putting those away, a lot of our chances fell to our least experienced players. And I think that can even go for Doku as well. They kind of just let him open up his hips and shoot. And Henderson makes a great save on one of them. Yeah, but he's going to have to pull out something magical. And that's just, we haven't seen that yet. So the Palace setup to make us play to them was perfect. And I think had Echeverry been in the game a little longer, we probably could have seen more and hopefully convert one of those XG. But yeah, overall lack of fucking passion in the first half. I think he brought the passion. And I
he
think
looked really good, man.
Yeah, I think he could definitely be an important player next year, and especially if we don't fucking take care of business and make Champions League, because we're not getting words if we don't make Champions League. That performance, though, makes me a little more comfortable with that outcome, because he definitely has it. He's 19. If we can't afford to go get someone that's Champions League caliber or wanting Champions League, then we are going to have to adapt, and it's nice to know that we have someone that can make an impact.
Yeah, I just thought City, like, all in simple terms, just looked off it. They didn't look, even towards the end, like, you have 10 minutes of injury time. Not once did it feel like, oh, they might break down the door. Like, no, it just felt so tentative. It didn't even feel like, oh, there's 3 minutes left. Why are we just back and forth? Like, no one really wanted to do something, like even just rip a shot from outside the box, put it in the mixer, like something might happen.
One wanted
if you don't hit it, you don't do anything.
Pressure.
There's a 0% chance. If you whack it, shit, goalie might deflect it, put it into a bad area. There's something there. You know what I mean? Like, just something. So yeah, it just felt like they were going through the motions and didn't get out of second gear, and like you didn't even realize, like, you conceded.
That's another thing from him. Echeverry came on and he was not afraid to get a shot blocked.
He knew what the score was. He knew what the situation was.
I don't know. Everything that I disliked about our performance from a squad point of view, he was the opposite, and that is the only reason I'm not fucking super pissed off right now. Is because we got something out of that match. He might start.
It's reminded me. This might be a crazy analogy, but like, if Paul George could be a cup final performance, like as a team, it was that. It's just like you left me like desiring like, so much more. Like, you did not give it your all.
We know the issues with this team though, and we went back to the 4-3-3. And I think that needs to be talked about.
I mean, yeah, it looked like our setup against the 5-back, because obviously we'll get into our game later, but you had the 3, Bernardo pretty much by himself when you had the ball, and then 6 up. You had Nico, Marmoush, De Bruyne as 10s, and then the wide players. Like, I like the idea, but it also kind of looked like us against a lot of low blocks.
Nico also, though.
It looked like us against a lot of low blocks. We were just moving it side to side and having a lot of trouble breaking it down, even with a target in the middle, obviously.
But no one
moving the ball around slow, not really breaking, because that defense, like, there were a few times in the second half even where you guys won the ball back and there was a shot at it. It's like, oh, you've got numbers for a bit.
Someone they have 5 players up and they decide not to transition back for the first time all game, and we give away the ball in open space. It's really bad.
Yeah, you give him 5-10 seconds, everyone's behind the ball. Like they gave him time to set up, and you didn't take players out of the spaces that needed to be covered. You weren't pulling people away. No one really moving off the ball. Echeverry, towards the end, I kept seeing him making lots of runs. He's willing to make the runs. He's just trying to at least move someone out of position, like make something happen. To your point,
He was making shit out of nothing. That Doku shot that
Absolutely.
got blocked, he literally almost got a goal off of it. And
yeah.
I don't know. I can't say anything more about Echeverry other than what I have. We didn't really get to see much, but I do hope he starts in the rest of the games, start phasing out the midfield. It's clear why we're picking up the guys we're trying to pick up. Yeah. We need a Gibbs White in the midfield to carry the ball. We didn't have a ball carrier in midfield. Every time they tried to fucking dribble, lost the ball. Reinders is one of the best creative eights in the world right now. Granted, he can't do much defensively, but we need that creativity right now. Once Rodri's back, I think we'll be fine defensively. We'll shore up the defense. But the lack of creativity, we've been talking about it all fucking season. In the final, you still create some things, but they're not clear-cut chances.
Yeah, Holland had the one chance early, that crazy acrobatic side foot. I mean, other than that, nothing for him.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't our day. But
not at all.
Again, back to Palace, like, great job. The defense was great. Winning headers,
defensive headers,
50-50s.
Wharton had a good shift. Will Hughes closed it up at the end. I mean, Munoz all year been running up and down with 3-4 lungs. Mitchell defensively did well as a difference maker. Add that quality, right place, right. Like that's what he's there for. Like that's the player you want that chance falling to, and he's got that quality to just side foot that first time, no questions asked. I mean,
I can't stand
that was the game plan.
I can't stand that he plays for Palace.
He's
been the one guy that's just like always been like, please just get him to a Big Six club. Let's see if he can actually if he can hack it at one of the Big Six. Like,
he's linked to Spurs. I don't want that.
Well, even if he wants to Spurs, it's like a Madison situation. I just want to see if he can hack it. I think he's class.
Absolutely.
Like this,
we're gonna see him play in Europe. Palace got European money now. Palace about to get some European money. That's what makes that so cool. Like they had a lot to play for, and now that it's a huge deal. Do they keep Gahey now? He has 1 year left on his contract. Maybe they re-up him.
No, this is fantastic for the Prem, and I think this is a great kind of sponsorship of the Prem. Like this is what the season has been all year. It's what it's been all year. What was that?
I still think they won't be able to keep Wharton. That'll be a tough ask.
I don't.
They might be able to keep guys. But Gahey's got a year left.
He's expensive. Wharton's going to cost a lot, and I don't see him going outside the Prem. So I don't know.
Yeah, Liverpool might try to go after him.
That would be.
I just think these guys, even if they get Europa, if Champions League is calling, like they might want out. Yeah. And I think Palace, they've got this is the biggest day in their club's history.
Oh, it's an amazing achievement.
And and I think that regardless of whatever the players want to do, like they're gonna respect their wishes and probably
they're gonna have a parade. They're gonna have a great time, man. Congrats.
No, I mean, like I said, just a great sponsorship for the Prem. This has been all season. We've been talking about these teams from like the middle of the pack to the end of the pack that have jumped up this season. Our Forests, our Brightons, and for the team that's in 12th, to show how good the 12th best team in the Prem is this year. This Palace side is not bad. Got talent all over the place. They played the game exactly how they needed to play to win it. It's really a special day for the club, and like I said, I think they're going to get poached, but super cool moment for them. It's funny because I don't really have much to say about their performance. They defended for.
They just stuck to a game plan. That's a quality team right there. I think that's all it is. There was one unit. They stuck to the game plan. They executed. Their first counter was the goal, and then they were resolute the rest of the game. Yeah,
that finish was disgusting.
A+ in execution.
Yeah, they let their best player be their best player in one moment, and then they shored up shop. I thought for sure they were going to end up conceding at some point, and yeah, Dino made the saves. Lacroix was really good, and Richards did a really good job on the back post. It was clearly a game plan.
Yeah, he's really good in the air. He's really good in the air, man.
USA. It's too bad that
you threw that top on.
No, honestly, I had it on
Oh.
before, and I just kind of forgot that he was playing. And then I
Yeah, he threw on Palace colors as well, Mila. This guy's a prick.
I'm not. No, look. Look. I put the Basel jersey in the back because they won their league for like the first time in 8 years with Shaqiri, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's sick.
And then obviously I'm a big USA fan, so
Of course.
yeah.
Sure.
There's nothing else here that would make me.
The colors of the shirt didn't influence you to throw it on?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I just happened to throw this on myself.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, for City, you guys got to get Champs League just for the sake of like the big name players will come with Champs. I don't think it's like the end of the world.
I think it's just words.
But
it's just words. No one else we're linked to will say no to us if we don't have Champs.
I guess that's fair because
Reinders isn't going to be in the Champions League.
Yeah,
They're terrible.
Yeah. I mean, also, I don't think these guys are expecting us to stay out of Champions League. So
it's a 1 year detour.
City,
at worst, is what
you
they're
get to go play with a Ballon d'Or winner. I think there's still appeal to bring.
You're not coming to the 12th place Chelsea or 16th and 17th Tottenham,
Yeah,
whichever one doesn't.
You're just not going to go get those like big Galactico signings. It's just not.
Yeah, Warts isn't gonna. If he has a chance to go play for Bayern, he's not gonna wait.
Of course,
but like
yeah.
At the same time, it's not like
Liverpool.
City. It's the end of the world. Liverpool are not going to spend the money that it requires on him. I just don't see it happening.
He's not even.
Oh yeah,
they're not in the
I don't
running.
think so.
It's
but
been.
no, they're in there.
debunked
I'm seeing the
already.
reports.
No, it was
like,
already
I'm seeing a
debunked.
bunch of it.
They might be in the reports. They were also in the reports for who was it?
Oh, I don't think they're gonna end up with them. I'm just saying they're in there. Oh, I know.
All the players that cost over 100, they just get outbid apparently. So
they outbid us, and then Caicedo rejected them. You hate to see it, man.
that's what I'm saying.
Mm.
I don't know. It's just been a really weird season. This game kind of picked it up encapsulated
all these trophy droughts. We'll talk about that in our next video.
What did Ten Hag say?
That game didn't count because the red card got rescinded.
Yeah, no.
He did
Cool.
say
I mean,
that.
Mila, do you have anything else you want to say about the match or anything? Or are you good to segue over to Chelsea?
No, I think he wants to keep talking about it.
Echeverry hat trick against Bournemouth.
Yeah,
I think he wants to rewatch that game in 0.5 speed.
0.5. 0.25.
Cool.
Watch the handball on slow-mo again.
Cool. All right. Yeah, Chelsea and United played. What an exciting exciting game that was.
You can call it that.
Let me talk about United real quick because it doesn't matter. Good tune-up game for the final.
Yes, definitely.
You know, Casemiro got 70 minutes on his legs. Bruno got 80 and didn't die. That's good. Hoyland is awful. He's awful.
That was one of the worst center forward.
Was that his worst performance of the year, Dylan? Because I slate him all the time, and I was still dumbfounded at how awful he was, man.
I don't know. I don't know how anybody could be that bad this consistently in the Premier League as a striker. Like,
send him to Batiste.
Something would happen. I send him to anywhere they can give us money for him. I don't really care.
Go back.
You got to loan him to a bad team and hope he does something.
I would just take money for him. Call it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll
take the loss.
And too.
Yeah, you let some Italian club make a mistake, and then he'll end up
have no money.
He'll be good there because he's a big physical athlete, and that's literally all that league demands.
Yeah, Lukaku's making a living over there, man.
That's what I'm saying. Dorgu was good. Maguire was good.
Great.
And Ahmed got a full 90, which I don't think he's done since he's returned. So.
And gladly not hurt during that full 90.
I hope, yeah.
Gladly not hurt.
Some scary moments.
I thought Mount put in a decent shift. This game just showed me that like Amram's gonna have to do something with Hoyland up top, and I would just not start him. I would play
something to do with what they did to Old Yeller. That's what they got to do.
Look, if he comes on at the very end, like I get it. Like sure,
Mainu false 9.
Yeah, Mainu or Garnacho. Someone's got to play up there.
Literally anybody. It cannot be
McGuizzi, bro.
You're playing with 10 men.
I would play with McGuizzi up top, but
that finish he had was really class.
That's the only issue.
He was off by half a shoulder. He was off by half.
It was even less than that. It was like
2 inches.
Like the margin on that was crazy. Like if VAR hadn't gone to that type of tech yet, it's a goal.
But yeah,
But
I know what the
it had
funniest
to
part is
check.
too. Like when we're talking about Hoyland, like we talk about the age, the experience. Look at the other striker, if you will, a 19-year-old winger who's making his Premier League debut in terms of starting for the first time out of position. And yeah, he didn't have his best night by any stretch, but he's again a
It was the
19-year-old
leaps and bounds better.
making his
Yeah.
first start out of position in a huge game.
I mean, six
And I
six
think
is not bad.
exactly.
No,
So my
no,
point
That's
being,
just
like he can hold
yeah.
his head. He can hold his head high. I mean, he put in a shift. George did. So I mean, it's yeah. Hoyland's just been embarrassing, man. And again, he is young. Maybe there is a decent player still there. He's not going to be worth that price tag, all that, and just mentally, I can't even imagine where he's at. You just got to get out of there.
He's bang average. Unfortunately, I think like he was just overhyped, and
Sounds
then
like Holland.
the
That's
lights were on him.
unfortunate.
It's
So
unfortunate for him. I feel for him as a human. Like that's got to be super
Right.
tough. I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
being a striker in that type of. I mean, he even scored the other day, and it was still like, you suck.
That's
So
crazy.
it's tough. It's tough. But let's transition to Chelsea. We're gonna get into more of the United stuff on Monday with Nick. So yeah, more importantly, Chelsea picked up 3 points. So
Very importantly, man, I think that first half was embarrassing. We were really bad. United had so much space out wide. Dorgu just kept getting the ball all by himself. Kind of felt like Mazraoui was taking up a lot of the inside positions on the right-hand side, and Ahmad was out wide, which I don't know. I thought Ahmad almost got lost out there in a sense, like in terms of not being able to have as much of an impact. Because I mean, I think he got past Cucurella once towards the end. That near post shot he hit, Sanchez got down to it, but not as impactful. But again, you see how dangerous he is when he gets into those positions. Like you feel something, you're like, oh fuck, versus a Garnacho, let's say, where you're not as worried. Ahmad's quality. So I'm glad he was able to be neutralized. But I think United's approach was really good. To your point, Dylan, in terms of like a rehearsal for the cup final, they went man to man and they did really well. Maresca said it in the post game interview that he watched like 6-7 of their games. They've never gone man to man like that. And I think they executed really well. You saw how bad we looked on the ball in that first half. We really couldn't get settled. The goal, thankfully, was offside, but it felt deserved, even only 15 minutes in. Like I was alluding to earlier with City today, we were in that sort of 3-1-6 shape. Palmer right in the middle, and then Enzo on one side of him, Cucurella on the other side of him, Madueke Neto out wide, George up top. Palmer, 2 big chances created. I thought he was pretty good in that game, considering the lack of movement. I mean, he's gotten a lot of slack for the lack of output, but I still think he's been pretty good. And Caicedo in that game, I mean, obviously I'm wearing the shirt backwards to have him up right here, but he's unbelievable. I always say it, but every time I do, I feel like the level just keeps getting higher and higher. He's in the midfield by himself pretty much that game. I've seen Enzo Fernandez have better games. I mean, I don't think he was bad, but for what we paid for him, right, you'd expect a performance like we get from Caicedo every week. He's unbelievable. Most dribbles, won the most tackles, won the most fouls. Like,
yeah,
it's about right. It's about right. I mean, I just have some good stats. 232 duels won in the season, not the game.
I was like, wow, that's a lot of duels for one game.
223 possessions won, 111 tackles, most out of any midfielder for all those stats. Like he just does everything. And I mean, I think in this game we were able to see his ability on the ball too. I mean, pretty effortlessly pinging the ball around, turning people really early in the game, drives 40 yards, past 5 people, lays it off to Palmer. I mean, he's unbelievable. He didn't get nominated for player of the season, which I don't really care about because it's going to be Salah's anyways. But I mean, he's unbelievable. He is so good. I called the Cucurella goal in the group chat.
I laughed at it because it was funny, and I agreed that.
But it's true, yeah. It was not a joke, like because in these type of games, because again, I think United were pretty good defensively. Reece James showing a moment of brilliance. I mean, from that right center back position, but Facundo is always on us about it. The flexibility to be able to move around a little bit more in the final third. You see Reece James step forward, Neto finds him, and then just improvises. Garnacho does absolutely nothing and just kind of lets him turn him like that. perfect ball in, doesn't even look up. Cucurella on the end of it. He knows where to be. He has the most goals for us in 2025 in the Prem. It's 4. That's crazy. I mean, Cucurella's our highest scorer in the league in this calendar year. And we're 1 game away from potentially being back in the Champions League. So I think a lot of credit needs to go to him. Other than just the goal scoring. I mean, I put him in my team of the year. That was my vote when we had our little combined 11. But for this reason, he's just so invaluable. I mean, he's had multiple games against really difficult attackers like an Ahmad, a Salah, a Saka, and he's come out of those really well with his head held high to go along with this output, to go along with how high up he presses. You would think he's a left winger at times if you didn't know who was playing. He presses all the way up. And if he doesn't win that, he runs all the way back. I mean, to think we almost loaned him to Man United last year. And we're playing Colwell at left back or Chilwell at left back. And if we cup tied him, he would have went to United. Could be a lesson on patience for some players. Because I was totally fine with getting rid of him. I mean, he didn't have a great first year with us. And again, in hindsight, probably pretty difficult to settle into that 22-23 Chelsea team. But I mean, all the plaudits deserve to go to Cucurella. He's been fantastic for a while now, as has Caicedo. Palmer, victim of his own standards. But again, there's a reason we hold him to those standards. We know what he's capable of. He knows what he's capable of. So hopefully we get that against Forest. But I'm glad how professional we were in that game to be able to see that game out. Things we kind of asked for a while. Picking the right times to make those defensive substitutions, just even going to the corner flag in like the 85th minute. I'm like, oh, this team's learning. It's a process. Again, I go back to, I always said I wanted to fast forward this year. Like, just let's move on to next year, 25, 26, Esteval's in. Like, nah, but these are the growing pains, and we're starting to see it pay off. These guys are learning. The destiny's still in our hands, and like that's all we could ask for. We're going to get what we deserve, and you go beat a Nottingham Forest team you should beat, you're in. I mean, it's all you can ask for. And I think with what we've showed, I'd like to think we can get that done, man. Forest might also be out of the conversation by the time match week 38 comes if they don't pick up points against West Ham, which I think would more than likely they'll at least get a draw out of that. But
Yeah.
if they don't do that,
points on Tuesday, then they're out. But that's the way I see it.
If they drop all 3 points for us, they're not even in. They're 7th.
I agree. Yeah.
7th. So
no, but even
they
if
might not even have anything to play for.
Yeah, but they'll still be playing. Both. Oh no, they can't get Europa.
Nope.
They just locked into 7th if they lose tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting scenario. But either way, Forest are still a difficult team to break down. So like, I'm not going to look too much into that because again, you should be confident in beating this team given their current run of form.
They're so poor lately.
I took a screenshot. They have 1 win in their last 7. 4 of those are losses, 2 draws. Draws are to Palace and Leicester. But yeah, they've been in horrible form. I mean, we should be able to beat this team.
I'll tell you what's going to happen in that game.
And I think
Gibbs White dominance, and you guys will still win 3-1.
Dude, I've got major concerns, to say the least.
About
Chelsea still. You guys only put away one chance from your left back against that United side.
That's what they're doing, though. Like that's just their goal scorer right now. It's kind of like
that's the game plan.
But Forest's game plan is literally just to sit in behind and not do anything, and then just
correct. But that's where the Cucurella coming in.
That's where Sancho comes in.
Possessions comes into play. I think. Like they set up in this defensive setup, but it's those like shadow runs, I guess you can call them. The guy that's not supposed to be up there
sneaking in behind
is the one that sneaks
the defenders
and gets the chances. So we talked about it. Facuna's definitely talked about it, but you guys can't break down the low block. This is how you do it. This is the way you figured out how to do it, and it's obviously not going to be consistent. He's not going to score a goal every game, but you've definitely found a way to make him useful in your guys' struggles to get
he's been brilliant, man. And I think Forest, it goes one of two ways because we're either setting up with a 3-2-5 or the 3-1-6, right? Depending on if they got the 5 back or not. If they go with the 4 back, you would think, does Caicedo go back to right back? Do you then go Lavia, Enzo? Because Reese was unbelievable. And that's when, obviously, you posed that question a few weeks ago, and I said Lavia. But to me, it just depends on the setup, right? Because yesterday, United are that 5 back. We don't need 2 in the middle there. We know that's not how we're going to set up. So it made sense. Let's go Reese. And he proved why he's worth. But is there a way to get both of them in? Because obviously we're missing Jackson. So are you able to throw Enzo as the 10, Lavia, Caicedo, Reese at right back? Like now you got to think about that. That's something that Enzo needs to think about because we don't know how Forest are going to approach this game. They're probably going to want to try and win. They might need to win to still salvage Champions League. I don't know what the scenarios are going to look like, but it's going to be interesting because we now have some options. We got a bit of selection issue with 1 game left, but I'm confident. I'm scared. I was almost scared to say that, but I think Colwell also deserves some credit. I've slagged him off a little bit, nothing crazy, but I've just pretty much said I want my defender to defend a little more. He's absolutely stepped up to the plate in terms of that. I've seen a lot more of really good last ditch defending, resolute defending, smart defending from Colwell, being a lot more strong in the duel. I don't want to speak too much on Tosin because it was Hoyland, but he looked like Van Dijk yesterday. And again, I think we might have to give more credit to Hoyland for that, but Tosin definitely had a really good game too. Neto was pretty hit and miss for me. I was also kind of frustrated with the tracking back at times. I don't think our press was really organized, but United were just able to get the ball out wide with so much space. It felt like all the time. And if this is a better United team with better players in these positions, I think they take advantage of a few more of those opportunities. But I think that there's definitely, we'll talk about the final, that next episode, but there's some positives to take for United, no doubt. They gave us a tough game. They always do against Big Six teams, even this year.
Yeah,
they're a tough team to beat, but
it's the one glaring thing with Amarim's like sides where I'm like, oh, he tactically is up to par with all the other Big Six managers. He's proven that. It's just like the guys that are playing for him are
whether it's that or how he gets them up for the game, whatever it is, he's up for the challenge. However he does it, he's proven that, sure.
In a lot of previous managers, it's always been the inverse. Like we've been able to beat the bad teams, which has gotten us like within the realm of European football. But then when we get to these points where we need to start beating, like if it would be like an Arsenal or Liverpool, we're not up to the task. We can't do it. We're just like tactically outmatched. Where like now I go into these games and I just feel like there's something there. Like this United team had zero business being in this game. And I think like the mentality and the idea of like going for a tune-up and rather than like just resting everybody was really interesting. I would have probably rested everybody, but knowing this manager, he needs to get them all.
I thought it was a great dress rehearsal.
Yeah,
I thought it was a very good dress rehearsal.
Do you guys think that them rolling out that lineup and putting so much effort into the game threw Chelsea off?
Absolutely,
could have.
Like, do you think you? Yeah, like do you think
we're just so tactical, which again, it's a critique that we've heard from Facundo, but we focus so much in our game plan tactically, like, oh, here's how they're going to come at us and here's how we're going to counter it. If they don't approach the game the way we anticipate it, I think we saw what happens. They look.
That's not what I mean, though. I mean, do you think your players went into that game thinking it would just be a walkthrough?
Like there was a human nature element of it. Well,
I think they knew how important that game was coming after a loss. I think they knew how important that game was.
Well, if you guys had dropped points, it would have been out of your control. So Chelsea should have been up to the task, which is honestly that was part of my concern at the end of the 90 was like it took a lot out of Chelsea to get to that point. Get over the line. But then at the same time, I have to play devil's advocate to myself where it's like they did get over the line. And it took like your guys' best players, like Caicedo and Cucurella, your most consistent players all year, along with your captain, to get you over the line. And that's what a whole team thing is. We've been talking about depth.
The defense was immense
all year. And like, that's what came to fruition.
They were immense.
Or best
and
players.
Robert Sanchez again. One more for me, King. What do you got? Because I think he didn't have much to do. Oh, fuck no. And he still gave the ball away a few times too many, but not in horrifically dangerous positions. And he made some important saves.
It's so funny.
Ahmad ripped that near post. That was a great. and it was a great save.
Well, you guys just started
Well done,
playing
Rob.
to his strengths. We've been talking about it all year. Like
Boot
you
it,
guys
boot
have been you guys have been playing to his feet and asking him to play. He can't do that. And then now it's
which
just
is why
been,
we signed him, which is hilarious. But
I know I've looked at his stats like the last 4 games. It's like 3 of 16 long balls. It's like, oh,
he's awful,
perfect.
man.
Just fucking
Awful.
boot it. No, but
and
that's
he
the
always
point.
tries.
Just get rid of
Dude,
it.
he's like Gusto. He tries to get it onto his weaker foot. What are you doing?
Just get rid of the ball.
Infuriating. But one more stat for some Palmer prop. First Chelsea player to create 70+ chances from open play in the league season since Hazard, 18-19.
Yeah,
He's fine.
Good.
Yeah,
Still
the
not
output.
scoring.
Yeah, less pens.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, honestly, that's literally what the
It
numbers
should have
are.
been a pen too, based on
He's
the
fine
Bernardo
so
pen
long
that was
as-
awarded today. Because it looked very similar. I don't
Didn't
think the
Onana touch
Bernardo
the
one
ball?
should have been. Yeah. But
Yeah.
my whole thing with that, I don't think we deserved a penalty for that. My whole thing goes back to the consistency thing. It's so
Yeah, torch.
inconsistent. Stop trying to rationalize it. Same
No.
thing with the handball. I would have felt hard done by if we got that handball the other way around. I'd also kind of get it. It was ripped on target. We just need to know the rules. Lay them out for us. How do
Right.
you call the game? Because I've seen that called before.
yeah.
Heaven
Like,
at the
it's
end of the game,
proximity.
right?
They
Heaven at the
wanna
end of
bring
the
up
game
proximity
with
now.
Gusto. I don't think that's a red. I've seen Gusto get sent off for it. I just want to know. Please lay it out for us.
There's just
That's
no
all we want.
consistency, like you're saying. Yeah,
That's
They
all
don't
we want.
they don't want to admit that the context of things has a huge role to play in VAR.
Yeah.
And like, look, if they were to just come out and be like, you know what, they're humans, and the context of things matter. Like in today's game, it was a
Fair.
final. They all had fucking super anxiousness, and 20 minutes into the game, the ref shat his pants. Like
Accountability.
how long before we get AI
Accountability.
refereeing?
sure, and then that's what's gonna happen. That's the road
At
that we're on.
Grok, is
You're
this
gonna
a
take the
foul? Is
human
this a
element
foul?
out of it.
Yeah, and we're just
Yeah,
gonna have
basically.
black and white, and it's gonna
I mean,
And
that's
be
we're
been an
going to the
argument in
Grok
baseball for
monitor.
a very long time. That's
the
been an
AI
argument in
has
baseball.
deemed that it's
Where it's a strike zone. We know what the strike zone is. Let's just
right there.
Grok
make it
says
robotic.
no
Right there.
goal.
I just got a text in a group chat. Oh wow, Palace won. That's elite. What phase are they in?
No, it's
Great
just
banter. I'm
a
just
really
happy that my club is professional. We've got some professionals now, because the past 2 years, all it's been about is, oh, we're going to concede again. We need another one because it's going to happen. But we're starting to see games out, and it wasn't a good performance, all things considered. You would think going into 16th place United at home last game of the season, pepper them 3-4. Like, that's what you need to do. But at the end of the day, it's business end of the season. Get the points.
Yeah.
I'm much happier with the points than if we kicked ball and looked good and drew.
yeah. No,
I'm so
100%.
happy.
You had to pick up 3 points.
So happy.
Still
Throw
got-
the
and-
graphic up, Dylan.
Oh, throw the
'cause
graphic.
I'm
up.
almost
I
out
will.
of stuff to talk about, but I got one more thing. This is important. And you do need to add devil's advocate. We've been horrible on the road in this calendar year. Let's not act like that hasn't happened. We've won 1 or 2 away from home in the league. But this is important. And I think also the 7 goals conceded is really the takeaway I get from it, because what we went from last year conceding 63 goals throughout the year and being this fun transitional team. We'll concede them, but we'll score them. When we talk about processes and tangible growth in terms of a project, these are the type of things we look at, or at least what I like to look at, because yeah, we heard some things about Palmer's better in the chaos ball, right? Transitions, like we need to have more transitions. It's a fun watch, and Palmer probably would have better output, but that's not going to win you leagues. That's not going to win you trophies. You know what I mean? What's going to get you there is having a resolute team that also has the ability to score goals. And I think one is starting to progress a little faster than the other, but I'm honestly fine with it. To see us, especially with the personnel in that defense, put up the numbers they have, I'm really proud of that. And I think that can be built on. Especially, same thing goes for our goal scoring numbers, which haven't been bad, but there's absolutely room for improvement. I think the eye test says that, just when we watch a lot of Chelsea games and asking where that goal comes from. I mean, we literally just talked about it. Fucking Cucurella's got the most goals in 2025 for us. So I think there's lots of room for improvement, but I'm more than happy with the growth from this team. But I think Champions League should still be absolutely the goal. And let's take care of Forest, man.
Yeah, I had to run through the 10 games.
That's what
Where
I
they
was
Oh yeah,
gonna
no,
say.
And
they're not great.
It's
No, they're not.
No.
United, Spurs, Everton, Southampton,
Won over
Leicester.
Liverpool.
It's
Yeah.
it's a very it's an
Oh, this is a
important.
handpick.
You took care of business at home.
The only problem I have
They're
with this tweet
professional now.
is
They're
the last
professional now.
sentence. The last sentence is a stroke-inducing tweet.
They conceded.
Yeah, it is pretty badly written. Holy shit! As you can
Kept
imagine,
reading it, I was like,
yeah, no, it's a crazy one. But again, it's just the growth
Well,
and
that
like
during this
what we're
calendar
doing as a team. I'm happy.
oh
I'm
yeah,
happy
no,
with
it's definitely it's a cherry-picked stat.
Oh, the stat
we call
itself,
it.
yeah, it was more of a reminder
But
for me
no,
to
no, no.
speak on the.
It's
the
still
process.
it's a good step in the right direction. If it was the other way around, you'd be fucking.
Yeah, I mean, you remember last year, like
you'd
the
be upset.
United Chelsea game at the Bridge last year, that 4-3 crazy game. I don't want to watch those every week when it's my team involved. I don't want to be conceding a brace to Garnacho, Anthony Travella assists. No, defend, score, simple. You know what I mean? So I'm happy with how far we've come. Yeah, I mean, a lot less goals scored this year. We got 63 this year.
Yeah,
I think last
which
year
you
was
go
like
into the
77.
summer knowing exactly what you need.
Right, and I think we got to talk real quick, Jackson. I mean, we missed him up there, regardless of whether or not he's been shit. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
striker, and
He makes the runs.
he ended the season on 10 goals. I mean, he had 14 in the league last year, 10 goals in the league. We talked about it when we were in a title race, right? He was putting away chances. He looked really good in front of goal, and we were kind of saying at the time, if that's really him, they can absolutely keep doing this. It was not him in front of goal.
No, he's an important miss. Like people are gonna underplay that, but we saw
he
what
did that.
happened when he
did it.
left. When he got hurt, we saw the stretch of
Self-inflicted.
form, which is honestly that's my biggest concern going into this next game for you guys is just not having that type of
Who's
thing.
there?
But this is what it
Who's
comes
there?
down to.
Yeah.
It's the final day of the season. In the craziest top 5 finish I've ever witnessed in my life, like with every team still having to play on the final day for everything. Like there's so many different things that can be talked about, like on the final day, and we didn't even talk about City. City still got to win, another
2 tough games.
2 games, and then the Arsenal is not technically out of it yet. Like that's so crazy. That's so crazy that
I think
there's
Newcastle are probably good.
No,
Newcastle are.
they're not because they only got
I know.
66 points. If they lose to
The thing is,
Arsenal,
though,
they
they
could
played each
easily
other.
jump
Yeah.
out
You're
to-
right. Anything can happen. You
I
are
do
right.
think
I've got
Every
some
team
gut feelings.
between 3rd and
Newcastle are
7th
fine, though.
as of today after the final can finish between 3rd and 7th, which is it's bonkers. I do want to get a prediction just so that we can have a clip for Friday or whatever. Makes my life easier. Gives me something to actually post.
Never mind. I don't want to do it.
So yeah, we'll do that. Let's do a prediction for Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest to ultimately see who goes to the Champions League.
I already gave my prediction, so I'll just throw it back up. It's going to be 3-1 Chelsea. Gibbs
3-1
White
Chelsea.
will be immense. It's just what's been happening.
Yeah.
He's been playing phenomenal, and they've been losing or drawing. So
Yeah. I'm gonna go 2-0. And I think player to watch or X factor is going to be Reese because I think tactically it's going to be very interesting to see how we approach it. Whether or not he ends up starting, I think he plays a part in the game, regardless. So whether it's him, Lavia, I guess Reese / Lavia, whatever dynamic, however we approach this game, it's going to be very interesting. So 2-0. I think we get one in the first, one in the second.
This is such a hard one because I know how bad Forest have been playing, but I have such concerns over the striker and not having one, and I just like.
At least it's not in Kunku.
Yeah, it's not in Kunku. I think this is going to end in a draw. I think that going to it's the city ground, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, going there and having to deal with that environment for the inverse reason of the stat that we threw up earlier. Like, if you guys don't, show up with the requisite amount of like tactical discipline and you aren't able to get a few goals, like it could be really tight butthole for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, we know what we're gonna get from certain players, right? Like the Cucurellas, we're talking about Caicedo. We know what we're getting, even to an extent. Palmer, not necessarily if he's gonna have some output, but we know what he's gonna give you.
Yeah,
it comes down to again tactically Enzo or Lavia or Reese or Lavia, but I think Enzo again show up, man. I mean, it's a big game. Poch beat him last year, had a little comeback, beat him 3-2. So we've come back from adversity at that tough ground with little time to spare. It's been done before by what I would say is a lesser team, but again, it's a tough ask. It's not an easy place to go, no matter what. And with the troubles we have with resolute defensive teams, it could get dicey because it got dicey for me even in the United game. 60 minutes in, it's like, okay, we need a goal. We need one.
Yeah.
So, that can happen.
There's so much pressure mounting on both teams. It really comes down to who scores the first goal for me. Like, if Chelsea score the first goal, I think that Chelsea go on to win it. But if Chelsea don't score the first goal and it goes to Forest, I think that either Forest
do they stick to their game plan? Do they lose it? Yeah.
I think
do they have that discipline?
They begin to just sit back all the way. They put all guys, behind the line, and then eventually
Chelsea break it down, or do they get impatient?
I think that that's where I'm seeing the draw. I think it's going to end 2-2. I think there's going to be I have no idea why I think there's going to be enough goals in there for that, but
I was going to say I don't know about that.
I think you're 2-2. I think they'll hit on the counter.
Your heart's talking to you.
Forest gets the first goal, but then there's so much pressure on both these teams that it's going to neutral each other out. Like,
I don't know. I'm confident in what I've seen lately. Like, they're mature. These guys are growing up. I don't know if mature is necessarily the right word, but you're seeing growth in that picture.
Yeah,
maturing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'd like to see us see it out and really put the cherry on top. Obviously, we got that final the day after, but if gun to my head and I had to pick one, we got to get these 3 points. We got to get these 3 points, man. We got.
My star player is going to be Chris Wood because I think they have to score goals.
He's got to get one of those.
And
is Marilla fit?
We didn't play in this last game, so I'm not sure.
Because I think he did his hammy.
Yeah, him and Hudson-Odoi both say late May.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi hasn't played in a little bit.
Yeah, so they're probably.
He already got his revenge goal out of the way last year. We're good.
Yeah. Those are our predictions though. So it's going to be bonkers, but that's okay. You guys good to end it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, we'll be back on Monday to talk with Nick about United and Tottenham in the worst European Cup final in the history of the sport, to ultimately see whose team can get a start on a rebuild. But from the three of us, we've been Clash of Clubs. This has been episode 42, and we will see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.